Welcome to the Before Midnight podcast, coming to you from Frankfort, Kentucky. In this podcast, we explore the world of age group triathletes. We'll be looking at the real world challenges of being an amateur multi sport athlete. I'm your host, Linda Word, along with my co host, Brian Schenkenfelder. Brian, how are you this evening?
Dude, I am phenomenal. I'm ready to go. Let's get to it tonight. Let's do it. I don't know. I'm just in a good mood. Why not?
Good.
I mean, what are my other options? I could just be in a bad mood and dour and angry at the world, or I could just be happy. I'm gonna choose happy.
I'm glad you choose happy. Too many people do not choose happy.
True.
They
That's very
dwell
true.
on all of the bad that happens. But, if you don't have bad, you don't have good. You've got to have both sides. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right. I mean, there's always gonna be good and bad. Just how you
Yeah.
interpret it. I'm just gonna
Right.
interpret it to be happy, good.
Okay.
Doesn't matter how bad it is. It's gonna be good. It's great. Oh.
Okay.
So what have
But
you been up
what
to
does
this
your
last week, man? What have you been up to?
what have I done this last week? Let's see. Well, my husband travels for work quite a lot, and we have a dog that we adopted about 6 months ago now, and he's done very well. He was fostered by somebody else before us, and he ate their couch. Like they left him alone, not crated, and he ate their couch. He is a large dog. He is 65 pounds, 70 pounds. He's a big boy.
That can't be very nutritious.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He just kind of. They came home and it was like, oh, the couch blew up. So they brought him
Wow.
back.
Yeah.
So we adopted him knowing this. And so we got a good, strong crate. We've had large dogs. We have a farm. We have 10 acres.
So you
Um,
minus the couch
yeah.
now?
Well, it wasn't our couch. It
Oh.
was the people that fostered,
Yeah, no,
like,
I was saying, did you lose a couch in the process as well?
no, 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 no. We just bought a crate that would fit the
Okay.
dog that we knew he was like. We've had dogs before that have
Yeah.
eaten crates, so we got a crate that you couldn't eat. The dog has had no problems with the crate, and
Nice.
he was about a year and a half, so he's about 2 now. So he's still relatively young. He's kind of a teenager, and he likes to pull things apart. So like if you give him a stuffy squeaky toy,
Yeah.
it's in shreds within either 5 minutes, or if he really likes it, he might not pull it apart for a few days or a week.
Okay.
Um, so recently, my husband was in town for several months, and then he just left again. And so now we have gone through 3 dog beds in the last
Oh.
week.
So
Like I come
dog beds are
home and
getting
he's in the
destroyed.
crate, and it's like it just blew up, Mom. I don't know what happened.
Obviously it
There's
wasn't the
like
dog.
you know, white fluff, just like it's like, is there a dog in there? Oh my God. So, what do you do? So it's been nice, and he will stay in the backyard. So he's been staying in the backyard while it's been nice, but
Yeah.
weather's going to turn bad again. So I'm like looking at indestructible dog beds, and they do make one. They make one that's made out of Kevlar, of all
Okay.
things.
That sounds heavy.
Yeah. And they have like a 90-day guarantee. If your dog manages to rip a hole in it in the first 90 days, they will give you a new
New
one,
one.
which
Yeah.
is a good deal because they are $300
So that's
for a
a
dog
hefty
bed.
price tag.
Yeah.
Well,
And
90 days
there's
is.
a 4 to 6 week waiting list right now.
Oh, okay.
So
But,
so I did not go for the Kevlar dog bed just because of the amount of weight.
well, but I
I'll probably
mean,
spend $300 on
yeah.
other dog beds between now and when that one gets delivered.
But
So,
with 90 days, you're going to know if the dog can get destroyed or not.
right, right. So what I ended up going with, though, and it arrived today because overnight Amazon, yay, Amazon Prime's rocks, is one that was made from Carhartt.
Okay. It might
So
last a few days.
yeah, I'm hoping this one will lay.
Or you
I'm just
just
like, oh my God.
you don't get one. You don't get a
He's
bag.
in a crate all day. He's got to lay on something. I mean,
A blanket? Would he destroy a blanket?
Well, he steals, he'll shred those. He
Okay.
shreds towels.
Well,
I've got him
here's what you
ropes and
do.
stuff.
You just shred up some paper and just like a, a bunny rabbit and put it on the bottom of his crate. And then you don't have to worry about it anymore. You can sit on it. If he
Oh my
destroys it more, he
God.
destroys it more.
Can you see what my living room would look like with that?
It's better
Yeah.
than glitter.
Here, dump the paper shredder in his crate before I
Yeah,
leave.
perfect.
He doesn't have accidents. That's not the problem.
No, but he's not going to destroy the paper shreds, and if he does, it's just more paper shreds.
You've never owned a dog, have you?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Anyway, I mean, I love this dog to pieces. He is the best thing ever. But I'm like, oh my God. So actually, on this one, I think another suggestion I had. There's like that bitter apple spray or whatever. There's a spray you can get anywhere that's specifically for dogs, and to make them not want to
Chew on
eat
it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have a cayenne pepper paste that I would mix up to put on horse bandages on their legs so they wouldn't tear off their bandages, if their legs were wrapped and stuff. So, but anyway, so that's my week has been trying to figure out how to get my dog to not eat a bed.
There you go.
Fun time.
That's an adventure. Something
Yeah.
you don't do
It's
every
sort of
day.
a practicing my behaviorism. It's like, okay,
Okay.
what
Yeah.
can what can I give him? What's causing his stress or boredom or whatever? What can I
It's
do?
probably boredom, I would think.
I think a lot of it is, yeah. Yeah. So, I tried giving him calming treats, and my daughter came home. She comes and checks on him at lunchtime if he's in the crate. And I told her, I said, I gave him a calming treat to see if that would help. She sent me a picture of the bed like exploded. And she's like, Mom, it didn't work. Yeah, I see that. Okay. Anyway.
Good
So
times.
how's it? My children are doing great. And my big kids. I don't know if I've even talked about that my daughter got married and I have a son-in-law now, which is cool.
There you go. You've added to the family. The family's expanded.
I have. And then the other one got engaged. And
Oh
so
wow.
got another one.
So
There we
grandkids
are.
are coming soon, right?
I don't know.
Probably not.
The one that just got married is like, I ain't do that to my body. And I'm like, maybe you will.
Well, you got another daughter.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she's on
The
the
younger one, pretty sure she'll have a couple kids,
yeah.
but it'll be a
The-
few years. So.
It'll yeah. They're on the slow track because I talk to her every occasionally because she still comes in and lifeguards occasionally at the pool.
Yeah. Yeah, they're taking their time. So, which is good. I'm glad.
Oh yeah, that's fine. It makes sense. You're young. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to rush into all of that. There's plenty of time in life.
Oh
so.
yeah, very much so. Very much so.
So, how's your youngin'? How's basketball?
Oh, Alex is doing well. Basketball's been good. It's been interesting to watch him develop. They played here recently, and he hit a free throw or layup in the last dying seconds to seal the game.
Ooh.
They were playing on
Awesome.
a full court pass. He caught it 1-2 up, hit the layup. I was like, wow, man, that's like a heck of a nice shot there, dude. I was like, he doubled his points for the season in that game. He had 4 points. It was more of a scrimmage than a game. It was during the week, not an official game. They're playing some games against some of the public schools here that are, I guess, about a year younger because it's, I guess, elementary schools, so fourth and fifth graders, and they're fifth and sixth graders. So they have a little bit of advantage, but they're going up against some athletic kids, and they've done well. It's been fun to watch. And it's past the time until soccer kicks into full swing, which, I mean, that's already happening too. I mean, we've been going twice a week to soccer practice as well. It's been crazy. And then this weekend, I get to ref a tournament. I'm a little nervous about this one, though, because this is college age. They're not college age. They're U15 to U18. So it's the older girls. It's a college showcase. So these are like really high-end squads, like regional level squads. They're going to be going up against each other. And I'm scheduled for like to ref in like 7 or 8 games. Like AR is not a big problem. The assistant ref, those are doable. Being center ref is a little going to be interesting
Oh, wow.
because it's high
So you've
level
had
soccer.
these kind of games before, but not as the center ref?
No, I've done center refing before, but just usually younger kids and not like these top end squads. But it's girls, so that will help because they're generally not as fast as the guys, so I can at least keep pace with them.
I was going to say, yeah.
But in
No
two
wonder you don't have to
weeks,
train for running.
2 weeks I get to do the guys. That one's gonna be hard because those kids can fly. I mean, the girls are fast too, but yeah, those boys are 18 and stuff. They can move. the
Yeah.
Like the qualifying to be like a regional ref or like a national level AR. Like I'm not sure I can run the times they want you to run. I mean, I can do it for like the center, but I'm not sure I'm fast enough to be like a national AR ref. I mean, they have to
Wow.
like run ridiculously fast times in like sprints, and I'm just not that fast. So it's wild.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next week we'll have stories about
I
officiating.
never would have even thought about the fact that, yeah, they have to be able to run.
Well,
That's what,
especially the assistant ref because they have to keep in line with the last defender, which means when they're going all out sprinting to recover back, you have to be able to kind of keep up with them so that you can make the offsides call because the offside's based on the last defender. You can't have an offensive
wow.
player between the last defender and the goal.
Okay.
That's what offsides is in soccer.
Okay.
So the AR has to stay in line with that last defender. And that's sometimes easier said than done when the kids
Yeah.
are super fast because they're hauling and you got to haul to kind of keep up with them. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's an interesting experience. Like the center ref's not bad because you don't have to keep up. You have to be close enough to
Yeah.
see what's going on, which is not the same as being in line with them when they're running full speed. Because the other part of it is
Right.
they're running full speed before you get a chance. Because you're standing like the halfway line, the ball gets kicked long, they all take off. They may be on the other half of the field, so they're running full. They're already up to full speed, and now you got to get up to full speed and catch them and stay with them. That's what makes being an assistant ref hard. It's
Wow. Yeah.
that instant
That's a lot.
acceleration. Yeah. So I'll have stories
Yeah.
next weekend probably about crazy parents. Although when it's older tournaments like this, you won't get as many parents. But there's some teams traveling, so you'll have parents. They're like coming in from like South Carolina, Ohio. It's a college showcase tournament. It's put on
Wow.
by Racing Louisville, which is Lou City's women's team.
Okay.
And then 2 weeks to Lou
Very
City
cool.
one, which is the guys. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting experience. I haven't done competitions that high of a level, so it'll be fun.
Cool. Well, good. That's exciting.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm nervous about it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll do fine.
I mean,
You
it's
do enough
reffing.
homework on all of this, that's for sure.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a tournament. Yeah, you just have to kind of keep it in
Yeah,
perspective. I mean, you want to do your best. You don't want to screw it up. At the same time, I mean, again, no one's getting paid. The players
you
aren't
don't get
getting
paid to
played.
ref?
No, I get paid to ref, but
Okay.
the players aren't getting paid, so their
Right.
livelihood's not at stake by my mistakes. It's just a
Are
weekend
college
tournament.
careers at chance? At risk?
No, because the coaches are looking to see how you're playing. They don't care about the results. I mean, I wouldn't care
Yeah.
about the results as a coach. I'm just looking to see who's talented. You're not
Yeah.
really screwing that up. It's just, again, it's youth athletics. You can't get too worked up over results. It's just kids
Yeah.
playing and refs do their thing. Like I said, I just don't want to like totally screw it up.
That would be embarrassing. You won't.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I'm hoping that they're high skilled and
All
they'll
right.
actually be easier to do.
Yeah. That they don't make as many mistakes.
Yeah, not the clumsy stuff that's kind of like, well, was that a foul or not a foul? I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Well, we were started talking about your book. Let's see.
Mhm.
What section are we on? Yeah, last week we talked about
Last week we were talking about just kind of how should we approach triathlon, right? It was,
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to take it, we don't want to get too wrapped up in the results. So the first part of the book was like trying to like set the stage for the amateur athlete, the one who's not getting paid, so that they can go into a race and enter the flow, which is where you're going to get your best results. This week, we're going to continue on into the book because that's the first half of the book is kind of setting up the mental aspects of how should I approach triathlon so that I can get the best race results I can get. The second half of the book is about more of a traditional handbook approach to training. And
And just for those of you, this is the first podcast. The name of the book is
Rethinking Triathlon. Yeah,
Triathlon.
We're not very good hosts.
Yeah, I just got to realize I was segued in, and just in case somebody didn't listen to the other podcast, yes, the book is Rethinking Triathlon by Brian Jenkinfelder.
Yes.
Available on Amazon.
Yeah, they'll be in the show notes if you're looking for the link.
Anyway, so yeah, the second part of the book, we're starting out with the base.
The base part of the season. Yeah, when coaches talk, they talk about a base, they talk about a build, they talk about a peak. I like to rephrase the base as kind of a preseason. We're not going to where the build is more of the racing season. I look at the base as more of a preseason. That kind of fits in with what more sports do. This is the part of where we're working on skills. This is the part where we're working on our fitness and getting ready and trying things, getting better at our sport without having to worry about being race-specific fitness. What I do then is I break down by discipline in triathlon, like swimming. The preseason for swimming is really technique driven. This is where we're going to work on our stroke. And I go through the book on how you can, the whole cycle of the stroke and where you should be and what it should be like. You've read it. That's pretty
I must say, Brian, you wrote that very, very well because swimming is there's so many different parts. And I was reading them like, yep. Okay, got it. Yeah, it was very well. You did a great job on this actually because it's not. Oh my God! I mean, I watch a lot of videos, preseason for me right now, and I'm just, working on technique and Facebook has read me very well, and I get a lot of reels, and they're just sort of short little snippets from different swimming sites or whatever, and it's like, oh, that's the one I need. Just getting different ideas and things to practice because I don't really care about speed right now.
Yeah.
Just trying to.
And in the book, I also included all the different drills for all the different elements of swimming. So if you're having issues with a certain part of the stroke, there's drills in there for you to be able to work on your technique, as well as trying to explain the stroke. It's kind of hard to explain a stroke without visual pictures, but I try the best I can with words. It is challenging.
I think you did really well at it. Yeah,
well,
I would not have been able to describe it that well.
Good. From the fitness standpoint on swimming, this is where it'd be a good time to work on kicking. I know triathletes hate kicking because I hate kicking, and just about everybody on our team hates kicking, except for a handful of the girls who are swimmers, because kicking is probably more important than triathletes give it credit for. There's a reason that the young kids who are fast, 30% of their practice is kicking. Kicking is mostly a support mechanism, though, in swimming, but an efficient kick can help with propulsion and can help you be a faster swimmer.
Well, I agree. When I swim next to the guys, that 99% of them are faster than me on the team. But if we're just doing kicking, a lot of times I am faster than several of them.
Mm-hmm.
Just, it's just easier for me to have a more efficient kick than they do.
Yeah. And that can help with your swimming as well. I mean, it's not a huge part of it, but it helps. Every little bit helps when you're trying to get faster.
Yeah.
And from a fitness standpoint, this is the time of the year where I like to do speed work in swimming. triathlon's such a long distance sport, and everybody wants to go out and do the long sets, but you need to mix it up. Give your body a chance to adapt, and sprinting helps. Sprinting helps make you faster, and usually what I find is it ends up making my distance swimming a little faster as well, just because it changes it up. You end up getting a little stronger from the speed work. There's a lot there to be done, and that's what I kind of encourage people to do in the preseasons. Hey, let's work on sprinting. And this is, if you're in a masters team, start practicing for a swim meet. There's no serious races in March and April generally. I mean, some people do that, and if that's you, then this is not your advice for you. But for the people who race in the summer, go do a swim meet in March, April. Train for like a 50 free sprint or 50 or 100 free, and try to work on racing in a swimming environment.
I mean, when I think about actually swimming a triathlon, there are times that you do need to be able to sprint. It's like, okay, I got to get past this person. Especially if you're getting bogged down or whatever, somebody, you realize you're following somebody who's weaving back and forth, and at the end, and, I mean, there's a place for sprinting, even in a long race, I would think.
Yeah, there can be. So, as long as you don't sprint out the start, just wear yourself
No,
out.
no, don't do that. Don't do
Oh,
Maybe to get your spot, but that's about it.
Even then, it's not really worth it, because every time I've tried to swim out fast, all it does is get me breathing heavy, and it's really hard to recover from that during a swim. Once you start breathing really hard, it's just, for me, it is. It's just easier to go out slow, let people burn themselves out, and then just pass them. Fortunately, most of the races, let me backtrack. Very few races now do a mass start. Almost all of them have a time trial start, which means you don't have to sprint off the bat anymore. Because that was always the thing, is you get in this long line, you want to sprint just to kind of get out in front of the churn. But the problem is, everybody sprints. So you have all these bad swimmers who can sprint for 100 yards. So you've gone hard, they've gone hard, you're tired, they're tired, and now they're starting to grab you and everything else. And me, I was like, go ahead of me, I'll weave in through you once the race gets going.
Hence, it's great to have a good kick.
Yes.
You can't grab my foot if I'm going to kick you in the face.
Yeah, I also talk about the bike. From the bike, I spend time talking about the elements that can make you a better biker. Like, how do you shift? What is going on with shifting? When should you shift? What you're trying to accomplish from shifting. I also look at cornering. How do you corner faster? And I just had someone comment who read the book. She was like, she's kind of new to triathlon, new to biking. And she was like, I learned that when you corner, you want to get that pedal up at the 6 o'clock position or up at the 12 o'clock position and not down at the 6 o'clock position. I'd never thought of that. I'm like, yeah. If you get that pedal down when you go into a corner, you can hit that pedal. I've done that before. That's not fun.
Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to go down, but it is very jarring when your pedal strikes the ground. But yeah, if your pedal's down and you're turning, say, left, and my left foot's down, you're going to lean the bike left. And if you lean far enough, you will get a pedal strike, and that is not fun. So it's stuff like that in the book. There's information on how to descend, how to get better at descending, the proper way to brake, especially for emergency braking. Because one of the things that people don't think about is when you're going really fast, and if I just slam on the brakes, there's a chance you're going to go over the handlebars because the front brake is going to grab. So you have to kind of get your weight back to the back. And people just don't think about that, but that's something that should be practiced. Every time I brake, I don't brake that much because I'm going out in roads. But whenever I'm braking, especially when I'm coming from speed, even though I don't slam on the brakes, I'm always sliding my weight backwards. Those are the types of things that are great to work on in the preseason, just to get those habits going. The book also covers tips for riding outdoors, like what do you do in groups, how do you ride in the rain, stuff of that nature.
There's a lot of really good tips on that.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there for those who are kind of newer to the sport or just haven't done much biking, there's some good stuff in there to work on. And for the people that have done triathlon, I mean, like cornering, like I can't stress enough, learn to corner on a bike.
I've been working a lot on that this winter on the mountain bike. Boy,
Yeah.
that's a great time to learn, a great way to learn how to do that
Yes, mountain biking
because
is
there's
the
trees.
well. There's always a corner. You're always
Yeah.
turning on mountain biking, and there can be really sharp corners. And you really to do it well, you have to really look through the corner and get yourself turned and really mountain bike is a lot easier to lean a bike too because they're the flat bars. I can really push them down and get the bike underneath me more than I can on a road bike. Road bike's much harder to kind of push away from you like you're supposed to.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
The other thing I talk about about the bike is what would preseason training look like on the bike. The big thing I like when we get into sports like biking and running in the preseason is what are the things that I can do that are not race specific that can improve fitness. Because when we look at the bike, there's all kinds of training intensities. You got your aerobic, which everybody knows. Then there's like tempo, which is a high end aerobic, which is just kind of a little bit faster pace. And then you got your threshold workout, which is your threshold is going to be your sprint Olympic distance race paces. So those would be pretty
Hmm.
fast. And then above that, you'll have like VO2 max, which is like 4 or 5 minute full go efforts. Your anaerobic, which would be like 2 minute full out efforts, and then like your neuromuscular, which would be like a sprint, like 30-second all out intensities. So we have all these intensities on a bike. If I'm doing a half is my primary race for the year, well, that's mostly kind of a tempo pace. Well, maybe in the preseason, this would be a good time to work on the neuromuscular, the anaerobic, the VO2 max, the stuff you're not going to need for the race, but those are things that are going to gain fitness for you.
Hmm.
And I provide some sample workouts for this type of season as well. But the big thing is just like, okay, how can I vary my training? How can I try all these different harder work to improve my fitness so that when I get into my race season, I can focus on that particular pace and not have to worry about general fitness and
Right.
lacking fitness in some of these other areas. And the bike's the best one because it has the whole gamut of intensities that you can use. And
It also, I love all your suggestions because it definitely makes the trainer a whole lot less boring when you have a specific workout to do.
yes, oh yeah, I mean that it's much easier to do a workout when you're doing 5 by 2 minute hard efforts with
Right.
3 or 4 minutes in between. Really
Yeah.
breaks the trainer up, and it becomes interesting. And you could do this stuff on long rides too. If you get bored on a long 2 or 3, you're going out for like a 2 hour ride. Every 30 minutes, let's do some sprints.
Hmm.
Or every 30 minutes, the next hill, we're going to go up full gas. Just different things to cause your body to adapt.
Hmm.
New stresses you can place on your body is always good. So the book covers that, and then running, we go over kind of the proper running form. What is a good technique for running? How to stand tall, stuff of that nature. Then we also talk about fitness in the preseason, and again, with running, it's not as varied, I think, as bike because the bike is it's a different beast. And like
Hmm.
going out and doing an anaerobic set on the bike is not going to be nearly as hard. A 30-minute sprint on a bike is not going to be nearly as hard as going out and doing like running sprints. So
Right.
I generally don't like running at like those super sprinting speeds. I mean, it's okay to sprint some in the early season, but it's really hard on the body, and it just increases your time. So what I like to do to kind of keep fitness and avoid is, let's say we're still doing that half. I know a lot of people want to do the Louisville half this summer. When's that going to be? Like in July or August?
I
That's
think
going to
it's
be a warm.
August.
That's going to be a nice warm race.
Yeah.
Louisville in August.
Yes.
See, I love that.
Just a
I'm
little.
like, I'll take the warm all day long. The
Yeah.
So now we're talking about like half pacing. So like the preseason, what I would do is, you're gonna chunk it up into 3 or 4 blocks. Your preseason. Let's take a different speed and use it for each one of those blocks. Maybe I do a marathon pacing block of training. Then I can do like a 10K block of training, and then maybe a 5K block of training. And these things would, again, create adaptations for you, create stresses that your body are going to have to adapt to. But you're still kind of leaving yourself with a specific pace that you can then train when it comes time for the season, when I'm focused on the half. Or if I'm doing Olympic distance, I'm going to be focused on 10K. Let me do things that are not 10K right now. Let me do some of these other speeds.
Right.
And that's kind of what I go through. And again, we have some different training for those. I just usually give some sample workouts for these types of things. And people need to realize that there's no magic workouts. Everybody thinks there's magic workouts out there. There's not. It's all going to be some type of interval-based training or in some variations off it. I've seen stuff like instead of doing like 4 by 5 minutes or 4 by 3 minutes, maybe you do 1 by 1 minute with a rest, 2 minutes, 2-minute rest, 3-minute, like kind of a pyramid type. Where I go up to like 5 minutes hard, 5 minutes rest, and 4 minutes hard, 4 minutes rest, 3 minutes, 3, which is a really hard workout if you've never done that. I've done that.
I've managed to avoid that one so far.
Because like a 1 minute, because it's like you do a 1 minute hard effort, like okay, and then you get a minute rest, and that's not really enough rest for a minute of hard effort on a bike. Then you get 2 minutes, and that's pretty hard, and 2 minutes rest. You're like, okay, I've mostly recovered. You get to 3 and 3. Okay, once you get to like 5, it's like that was really hard. Wait, I gotta do 4, 3, 2, and 1 again. That's a tough. You wouldn't think that would be very hard, but that's a really tough one.
Yeah, that's oh my gosh, yeah.
So you can kind of play games with your intervals. They don't have to be the same length each time. It's more about kind of managing work to rest ratios for stuff like that. But you can play around a lot with your workouts and give yourself different intensities and just have some fun with it. I also kind of cover what racing means in this base or this preseason. And that's why I like to call it preseason, because now these races aren't what I would consider serious races. These are races that would be great for trying new things. Like if I want to try a different nutrition, these would be the races to do them in. If I wanted to try a new strategy, let's say I've been putting my bike shoes on and then going and clipping in and riding off. Maybe I want to try doing leaving my pedals or my shoes clipped into the pedals and try starting that way, try getting off that way. This would be a good time to do it, because if you mess up, we're just trying something. Maybe I can learn from it so that now when I get to the races that I care about, I have this new skill that I can take there and use it then, because I've actually practiced it in a game situation. Same thing with like shoes. This would be a good time to break in your racing shoes if you have new racing shoes.
Yeah.
So this is the time for experimentation, and it's always good to have a race in the preseason just so that you can experiment if you can. I generally don't, because it's usually too cold.
So you're not going to join us in 2 weeks for the Shelbyville Triathlon, the first one? I need to look and see what that is.
Oh, I'm going to be reffing that
weather.
Weekend, I believe. Darn, I'm going to miss that one.
Oh, shucky darns. Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks.
Like, that's a perfect race to try a different strategy. Maybe like a breathing patterns, whatever it might be. That's a pool swim, so that might not be the best for that. But,
well, it's a pool swim, and it's also backwards.
Yeah.
Because it's run bike swim.
Last.
So
I've always wanted to do that for like years. I've wanted to do these earlier races where the swim is last and do a 400 IM just for the fun of it. But the races are too cold for me to actually go in and do them, and because it's great when you go backwards, because I'm generally fast enough on the run and bike that the pool isn't crowded yet, so I could
Yeah.
get away
Yeah.
with a 400 IM.
Well, see, and it's a problem for me because I'm one of the faster runners and decent biker, and then I get in the pool, and all of our master swim team members come in after me and are lapping me, and I'm like, I will get out of the way. I promise. I'll stay at the wall. Shoot, one of our swimmers, I think, swam under people the last year when she did those races.
Oh yeah, it can get crazy if
Yeah,
you
she
can't
went
get.
under.
It's
Yeah.
tough when you have to if you can't be up in that front 20% coming into the swim and you're a fast swimmer. That's a rough spot to be in because
Yeah.
you just nothing you're going to do. It's just going to be a mosh pit of awfulness.
I'm just hoping I can run and bike faster than them, than those swimmers that I know that are going to be there, so I can at least get a 50 in before they catch
Catch
me.
you, yeah, because that's yeah, it's oof. Because there's a lot of good runners and bikers out there who can't swim a lick, so it becomes
Exactly.
kind of this wild.
It makes the pool chaos,
It
but
makes
it's
the pool
fun. I
count.
mean, it
Oh
is
yeah.
a great time to practice stuff because
Hmm.
it just doesn't matter. It's all going to go to hell when you get in the pool.
Yeah, you can teach you things like patience in the swim of like, okay, I can't get mad. There's people around me. It's blocked. I'm going to look for my spot, but if until I find it, I got to be patient. I
Yep.
can't get mad. I can't get frustrated. And those are good skills to work on this time of year because again, you're this is not a race that you're doing for time. This is a race you're doing for skill and technique. So like
Experience, yeah.
practicing, yeah, experience. So practicing patience and things of that nature in the race are invaluable for when that pressure raises when in races you do care about.
Yep. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and as ever, and then I think the book I finished talking about goals for base, and most of the goals are just going to be like, what kind of process goals can we create? Like, what
Hmm.
are we going to create like certain habits? Or are we going to try to learn certain skills? Or are we going to try to, maybe uh, do different sprints and things of that nature? Just try what are we going to learn? What that's process oriented in the preseason because that's what it's about. This isn't about like I don't want fitness goals at this point. I want goals for how am I going to be a better triathlete? Because
Hmm.
that's one of the big things that people get so focused on the fitness they don't think about, well, how can I be a better triathlete? How can I get better at the sport? How can I get better at my transitions? How can I get better at
Hmm.
biking? How can I get better at running? This is the time to work on that and add in what kind of habits can I create? What kind of skills can I create that I can then carry into the race season and make myself better? I mean, because that's what professional sports athletes do.
Yeah.
Let's basketball, football. What is their preseason about? It's about working on skills. It's about working on fitness, but it's also about working on skills. For
Yep.
us, the preseason is about skill development and developing enough fitness that can support your training for your season. So it's about slowly building up from a low from the low off season workouts, adding more volume basically, and then working on technique, getting yourself to be a better athlete, so that when you're racing and things happen, you can better adapt.
Yep. Sounds good. Very good. Very appropriate for this time of year too.
Yes, it is.
For sure. This is where we are.
Yeah. So if you want more details, you're gonna have to buy the book. It's good stuff.
Yep. Yep. It's available. Well, thank you, Brian. I appreciate all that. And that's where we are for sure. I'm looking forward to trying it out in 2 weeks and hoping it doesn't snow on the day of that race. Yeah.
Yeah, snow and because they'll cancel the bike if it snows.
Yeah, the cancel the bike. Yeah. So
And then
then it
it's just
ends up being, yeah.
a run swim, which is just that's talking about nightmares because there's generally not that much room between. Well, like the elite runners are going to pull out, but after you get past those like first 5 to 10 runners, it is just nothing but a giant pack all the way to the slowest runners. So there's like
Mm-hmm.
everybody's getting in the pool at the same time, which oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I can only imagine how fun that would
Yeah.
be.
It was my first triathlon, I don't know, 10 years ago or something at least. Yeah, we couldn't, I had a hybrid bike and we didn't get to bike. And I was a fast runner. But yeah, that pool was crazy because I got swam over big
Uh,
time.
yeah, it's just when everybody comes in together.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because
I mean, I got in the pool fairly early. I just couldn't, but everybody came in after me and I just didn't, I was still
well, and like this
basically
first
dog
run,
paddling.
the first run's only like a 3K, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
a
I mean,
very
there's
short
there's
run.
just no way to get any separation,
Yeah.
any real separation. Yeah, like I said, there's going to be a handful of people that are going to come in, but what are they going to be? Maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds ahead of you?
Yeah.
A minute ahead of you? Some of the faster runners? Yeah. That would be a
Yeah.
crazy swim.
Yeah. I'm usually, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done a 3K, but yeah.
Yeah. Be really fast.
Yeah.
No thanks. Give me a bike
Yep.
in between to like continue
Balance it
to
out a little bit.
continue to spread the people out some more.
I know. I'll bring my dog. He'll drag me for the 3K.
Well, there you go.
Have a nice fast run there. Well, thank you, Brian. That was great. I look forward to hearing more about the next section of the book, which we'll talk about at next week's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you like this podcast, please give us. Do we still do star ratings? I can't
The
remember.
podcast, some of them do 5-star ratings. Give us 5-star ratings. That helps us keep this podcast going. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Again, that helps us. If
Subscribe.
Either way, yeah, it doesn't matter what source you're coming in. If you haven't subscribed to us, go ahead and subscribe. We're doing this weekly. We have weekly fun content. We try to keep it light, entertaining, and informative. So yeah.
Sounds good. All right, Brian. Well, I hope you have a great week. Thank you, everybody, for listening or watching us, and we'll see you next time.